Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm going to do a video about how I'm resetting the way I do things. It works out that every so often you have to change up how you do things in life, because if you don't, you end up getting stuck in a rut. Today I'm at Sitton's Gulch at Cloudland Canyon State Park, and I'm hiking up to the lower waterfall mainly for exercise today. I didn't bring my camera. I brought the video camera, but I didn't bring my regular DSLR because I wanted to travel a little lighter. I got a little bag here. I'm pretty sure that made a lot of sound. I just realized my mic's hanging on it. And I brought a bottle of water and a snack bar, you know, and the camera, of course, video camera. But I want to talk about few things I've started doing recently, more in earnest than in anything, to try and reset my life. This trail is easy to access and it's beautiful, but it does climb several hundred feet to get to that lower waterfall. We'll see when I get there. I got my All Trails app running, so I'm recording it to see how much elevation I gain overall. And then I'll also see how many miles it is to the waterfall from the parking lot. I started it right beside the truck, so we'll see. One thing this trail will do is it starts you out in the river bottom and you're on dead level ground. So it lulls you into this false sense of ease when you start out, and you rapidly run into the steep section around the corner, you know, maybe a quarter of a mile in. You went far enough, you're kind of semi-committed, but you're not so far and you couldn't turn around and go back. But man, I think I've only elevated about 120 feet at this point. I'm almost a mile back. And I'm starting to get a little winded. Talking to the camera while you walk like this under a dedicated pace is kind of hard. Especially if you're not 100% like 23 athletic and woo. Yeah, this is not as easy as I was thinking it was gonna be. I'll just walk up there and back and get me some miles, get a few steps, you know. Yeah, look down here. This place is just beautiful. This stream, let's see. At this point, you start having running water. I think it just soaks into the ground here, but downstream from about this point, you don't have any running water. But let me see. Yeah, I can hear it running over the rocks right over there. So it's not running much. And the waterfall up here was just a trickle the other day when me, Teresa, and Sierra came up here. So if you can see it, just broke the 1 mile mark. Gained 147 feet, it says, 20 minutes in. So I'm running about a 3 mile an hour pace. It's a little cooler today than it was the other day, so that's nice. Check out this spider web. I think is that a golden orb weaver? Look at that, can you see it? It's the size of this spider. I believe that's what that is. I'll try to take a phone photo of that. I've went like 1/10 of a mile since the mile update. Stopped and took photos of that spider, and just that short amount of time resting with that spider got me recovered to the point where I'm not super winded now. I get to go downhill for a minute. This is awesome. See, it's almost impossible for me to show grade. This is going downhill, like pretty good bit too. Like I just went over a little ridge or something, because now we're dropping back down. The overall cumulative growth of elevation is still constant, but you go over little high spots along the way. Check out this. That tree is growing completely on top of that rock, and it's a big tree. It's a fir tree. I mean, it's huge. we get on up here and there are some storm damaged trees up here. I remember them from the other day. We haven't gotten deep enough into the canyon yet to be able to see the top rim. There'll come a point when we can look over this way and we'll be able to see the overlook where they look into the canyon from the top. It's visible from there. I don't think we've passed Bear Creek yet. No, pretty sure we haven't. There's two creeks converge into the confluence of forming this one. That's whatever the main creek all the way through the canyon is, and the one that bears off to the left called Bear Creek. We'll pass it at some point. We may have went by it. I don't know. Well, I've stopped momentarily in this little glen of rocks. I'm down here by the river bottom again now. The stream elevation has caught up with me. You can see here's a wash coming off the side of the mountain. All the big rocks. You know, these are very big rocks. Yeah, you could call them boulders, I guess. But yeah, this is what you can find if you hike up this trail. And they did trail maintenance, but they got down in here and sawed trees up. I guess to keep debris from building up in the riverbed. So as the floods come through in the winter, it'll wash it on downstream. There's a couple of fallen trees over there, and they sawed them up somewhat too. They did trail maintenance last Monday, because as we was hiking out, we was passing a bunch of people carrying chainsaws coming up in here to work on stuff. Yeah, here's the fallen trees that we saw Monday. Like, how loud do you think it had to be to do this to this tree? That had to make a lot of noise. I mean, look at that. That's impressive, ain't it? That tree's 2.5 feet across right here. I mean, I am about 7-8 feet away from it. It's a big tree. Yeah, just snapped it, twisted and snapped it. And then this giant tree was uprooted and fell over. But get this thing is huge. Like, it's a lot of tree. You have to walk under it now. Oh, come on, get the spider web off my hat. There we go. It's too bad you can't get scale. That tree is almost 4 feet in diameter. So the circumference of that tree would be what? About 14 feet. That's incredible. This is supposed to be a stream crossing. That's how dry it is right now. But water flows off the mountain down this wash. There's a little curtain waterfall up there normally. And then floods right here, goes between these rocks, and you do the stepping stone trick to stay out of the water to cross the stream. That's the intention here, at least, to cross that little area, and then that flows, of course, into the greater stream. My rate slowed dramatically. I ain't gonna get, but I was on track when I started for a 3.5 mile hour pace, and I'm gonna barely get a little over 2 at this point. Currently we're at 47 minutes and I'm at 1.95 miles. So yeah, I'll be at like 2.1 at an hour, going up the mountain as we go, because I've currently elevated 419 feet as well. There's another one of them golden orb weavers. It's right in the middle of that web. Of course, you probably can't see it from the chaos, but they weave a huge, like, it's not just a single plain web, it's like a 3D web. It's different. Oh, I'm nearly to the waterfall. I've done better time than I thought. The bridge is right there. That's awesome. Me and Phil Thatch came up here a few years ago, photographed a curtain waterfall. It runs off that rock right there. It's just beautiful. We got down in here and took it from different angles down in this lower area. Video on the card if you want to see that one. Yeah, it's steep. And then you got stairs. The bridge they built to connect the two trails. I'm not sure if you can see through the trees or not and see the stairs. To get out of the canyon, it's probably 2,000 steps, maybe more. There's a lot of steps to get up out of here. All right, we're nearly to the halfway point, meaning that we're almost to the lower waterfall. And there's water running, not much, but there's a little. So we'll be able to see the falls. It's right here. It's not much, but it's falling. You can see it splashing right there. I've got some pretty cool photos of this with the whole cliff face opening. You see there with a fall. Get down here, set up shooting that way, and it allows you to do the part of the creek in it, and you get a long exposure. It looks real good. All right, let's go ahead and finally get to the subject that I led into this video with, because you know it would be clickbait if I didn't tell you. Okay, first I went 2.17 miles to the halfway point, because now I got to go back to the truck, and it took me 54 minutes roughly to get here, maybe 53, and I elevated 525 feet. To me, that's pretty impressive. May not be to you, but it is to me. One of the things I've done is I started carrying a notebook again. In this notebook is just like I might do math, a little simple arithmetic. I'll draw sketches of stuff I want to make in the shop. You know, let's see, yeah, complete with dimensions and notes and things. That's for a pass-through insulator for an electrical enclosure I want to do for amateur radio, for an antenna connection to get outside of the water sealed box. But and then I'll handwrite notes about different things, as you can see here. Hopefully it's in focus and you can tell. If it ain't in focus, I'll insert a clip of it that I'll shoot with a different camera. But handwriting notes, I think, is a very powerful thing that I used to do a lot, and I kind of got away from it. And now, something I also enjoy using is a really nice mechanical pencil. And it took me a while to find the right one, because I bought a couple that were decent. I bought one by Pentel. It's a great little pencil. Problem is that the point doesn't retract when you're done. When you put it in your pocket, that little tube that the lead slides out of will stab through your pocket, and it damages your shirt ultimately. And then I bought one by a company called Uni. They make the Uni ball roller pens. They also make the mechanical pencil. It also has the same issue. I like using them because they're aluminum and they're real light, and they feel good in the hand to write with, but they don't have a retracting tip. This one has a retracting tip. The first press deploys it, and deploys it enough to write with. You can just hit it once and be able to write just fine. And the tip isn't rigid. I don't know if I can make it do it. Yeah, as you can see, I've retreated it, just exposing the lead. So what that means is once it wears down to the edge of the tube will slide back as you write, allowing you to continue to write with supported lead. That's pretty cool. So this one is a Rotring, R-O-T-R-I-N-G, or Rotring. It's a German brand. They're made in Germany. This one's called the Rapid Pro 0.5 because it's 0.5 millimeter pencil lead. And I use, the Uni pencils came with smudge-free HB lead. I think it's HB. And it writes really easy and it doesn't smear, like hardly at all. It will if you bear down real hard, but it also erases pretty easily. Also gotten where I carry a eraser, but this one's the Pentel. So I think it's the Klee eraser ZE22. I like these because they don't abrade the page near as much. So now I've gotten where I'm wandering around with that in my pockets again, and I can write things down. And another thing is I've been practicing script handwriting. We learned it when I was in elementary school. They call it cursive. It's technically script, but we'll come back. I didn't want to be that one guy who's sitting here yapping to a camera while these people show up and hike all the way back here and go all the way up this gorge to see the serenity of this waterfall, and then I'm sitting over here talking to the camera the whole time. So I shut it off while they were here. I'm actually looking for a smaller notebook than this. This is a wonderful notebook. It's real well made. It's leather bound. I think it's a German notebook. I'm pretty sure. It's a Lecterm 1917. Yeah, because it's written in multiple languages in the cover. I can't even read. Is it Bit Zero Considered and which says please return to. But I got this from Amazon. I got the pencil from Amazon, and they weren't really all that expensive for really high quality. This notebook it isn't ruled, it's dotted, so it's almost like graph paper, and that's kind of handy for people like me because I like to draw. Like I said, you saw I draw blueprints and things. But that's the number one thing I started doing again. Number two thing is I've deleted Facebook and Instagram, the apps, off of my phone. And I also deleted a couple of the photo sharing apps, honestly, just because I didn't use them. Even though I have accounts on them, I'm not accessing them. I probably should delete the accounts, but at some point I may want to go back into them and start using them again. So they're there if I want. Right? Yeah, I logged out and deleted the apps, so they're not logged in. But I have one on my phone, I think, called Glass, but I don't ever use it, even though I upload to it for a day or two. But I just kind of lost the drive to do that. And sharing photos on social media is not something I want to do anymore. Well, that suddenly got to be a very, very crowded place. So I'm going to move on and head on back to the truck and start back down. Looks like it's 2.19 miles from the truck to that observation deck. So now I'm starting the trip back. I need to look and see. I was at about an hour and 5 minutes to the beginning. We'll see how long it takes to cover that 2.19 miles, which is all downhill back to the truck, which is exactly why I like this trail over coming in from the top. You walk uphill to the turnaround point and downhill back to the car. To me, that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, the second thing that the second thing that I've done to kind of improve life is I've taken Facebook and Instagram off of my phone. And I really didn't have any other social media other than that on my phone at all. I've never signed up for TikTok at all, so I've never had that. And I did have some of the, like Vero, I think is the photo app. I deleted it, so I just never posted on it, and I never even opened it. I just did the app updates. Wasn't using it, so I got rid of it. I have Glass. That's the only one left, and I'm probably going to delete it pretty soon. Move them out of your way. clear up the lifestyle some, you know, less stress, less clutter. Tim Childers' philosophy kind of stuff. Another active thing that you can do that I have been doing to kind of reset yourself into a more deliberate and mindful kind of person is don't commit to everything people offer you to do. That seems to be a big problem with my generation in particular. Gen Xers are, it's almost like we were programmed from childhood to be nice to people and to just get along and do whatever it takes to make the other person happy. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I am saying that too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So you got to learn. It's like the whole idea about putting on your own oxygen mask first on the airplane. You know, you got to look out for number one, because if you're not in a good mental headspace, then how are you going to communicate that, or, you know, be able to work with someone or be kind to somebody? If you're in a terrible mental headspace, you just can't do it. So one of the things I've learned to do is to just not commit to so much stuff. And you don't see your friends as often, but at the end of the day, it seems like it's a more peaceful existence. That was dadgum steep. I don't know if you could tell it or not, but I was struggling not to slide down that hillside face first. Like, that whole section where I dialogued to you guys was steep. A little over 3.1 miles and an hour and a half into the trip. Now that also includes all the resting and dialoguing to the camera and sitting down at the waterfall and all that factored in, because the clock don't stop with all trails. So it's like I'm gonna do the out and back with the extra stuff in like right at 2 hours. Not too bad. Sharing just those few things with you have made a huge difference in my life. I got a spider web on my face, dadgummit. And I really feel like a more meaningful life, even just to the point of there's something deliberate about it, if that makes sense. But have you had something that you've done that I haven't mentioned here that made your life better with the advent of recent, you know, technology and things of that nature? Because it seems like with the advent of social media that there's been a whole lot of trouble with people's mental health, the state of their mental health. There's some doctors that saw as a video by Struthless, and you know, I don't know if you know him. I put a link to his channel down below, where he was saying that doctors have correlated, I ain't gonna say they linked it, but they've correlated use of TikTok to teenage girls developing tics. There's a correlation there. They're not going to say that, you know, it's a causation or anything like that, because they got no definitive proof. But the rise of the tics. Thought I heard somebody behind me. Is there somebody back there? Hope not. But they noticed it a few years ago and started studying it a little more. But it's interesting to see that, like, social media will make you depressed, and especially excessive use of it. I challenge you that if you haven't tried it yet, try going without your social media for a week or so and see what life's like. Seriously, give it a try. You'll be surprised. The things you'll start noticing that you completely are oblivious to otherwise. Because I was one of them people, I'd get my phone out and I'd look through Instagram while waiting on a table at the restaurant, you know. Not now. The crap ain't on my phone. I'm probably preaching to the choir, because my usual audience is a pretty strong echo chamber of what my beliefs are. So you guys and gals probably already know all this. But I just thought it was interesting. Like I feel like I'm more creative without it. Like I start thinking of ideas and wanting to sketch them in my notebook. And yeah, you can use your phone to do all those things, but there's something mentally powerful about writing with your hand while you read it with your eye. Physically, there's a connection there. So if you haven't tried it, I vote you give it a try. You can make it as expensive of an effort as you want. You can buy a 3-pack of them little field notes paperback notebooks for $6-8, and then you can get you a regular pencil if you don't want to sharpen one. But you can get cheap mechanical pencils for just a couple of bucks, and I recommend a mechanical pencil over a pen because you can erase it. It allows you to make edits, and you don't have to scribble all the edits out. I used to write everything with pens, and when I started doing my notebook again, I wanted a good mechanical pencil because it feels good to write with it. And to me, I can appreciate the craftsmanship and the manufacture of the pencil too. All right, I think we're almost out of hills. Maybe we got one more. Whew. Just came down another escarpment. Does life have to be this busy and this complicated to the point that it's frustrating because you can't make everybody happy or get everything done or check off however many tick boxes you have on your list for that day? People want to write to-do lists. Don't call it to-do. That creates anxiety, they claim. Call it a completion list. Seriously, the words have power, and it will make a huge difference. I think I see a car in the distance. I'm almost done. Well, let's see what it looks like when we get to the truck, as far as distance traveled and all that sort of thing. I'll insert on the video how many steps I got, because my phone counts the steps, but it doesn't update them for like 10-minute intervals. So by the time I drive home, then I will know how many steps I got. But until then, I won't have an accurate count because it'll be short. Some are still in the queue, so we'll see. But the side of the old Dodge. All right, we've made it back all the way. Let's see. What does the app say? I did it in less than 2 hours. 1 hour and 57 minutes. Let me screenshot it here. There we go. Well, I thought it did. There it goes. 4.36 miles. 668 feet of total elevation change. Not bad. Whew. My tactical tourist bag allowed me to carry that camera and a bottle of water and a snack, my phone at times. Any of these ideas helped you guys? If it has, leave a comment, share with everybody else. Maybe an idea that you've come up with that I didn't mention, like I said earlier. So I appreciate y'all tagging along on this hike. With that, I appreciate y'all coming along, and until next time, get your camera out, whatever kind it is, and go take a picture with it. All right, we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.